Gluten has received a lot of hate from the media, and misinformation has been abundant. This has led to many individuals opting for a gluten free diet, even if they don't have the whole story quite yet. In this video, we're going to discuss whether or not eating gluten truly is bad for the body, what celiac disease is, how it differs from gluten sensitivity, gluten free foods, and more. So, what is gluten? Gluten is a protein found in wheat, barley, and rye. Gluten serves the purpose of helping food maintain its shape. Further, a gluten allergy is not the same as a wheat allergy. Gluten is not wheat. Gluten is found in wheat. This means that you can technically have a wheat allergy, but gluten is not the cause. It could be some other component of wheat that's leading to your symptoms. Now, celiac disease versus gluten intolerance. We want to make an important distinction between celiac disease and gluten sensitivity. Celiac disease is an autoimmune disorder. This means that the immune system mistakenly thinks it has encountered a threat, gluten, and goes into attack mode. Celiac disease occurs when the small intestine is especially sensitive to gluten and can't adequately digest it. In this case, eating gluten can lead to gastrointestinal symptoms, abdominal pain, bloating, constipation, and diarrhea, nutrient deficiencies, cognitive impairment, joint pain, dermatitis herpetiformis, and other complications. On the other hand, gluten intolerance, also called gluten sensitivity or non celiac gluten sensitivity, is not an autoimmune disorder and thus doesn't lead to any intestinal damage, cell damage, or inflammation. The symptoms can look the same. However, if you're gluten intolerant, you're not having an immune response like people with celiac disease. Your body simply doesn't love gluten. This is similar to how dairy might disagree with you, but that doesn't by default mean that you're lactose intolerant. If you're not sure if you have celiac disease, a celiac panel can provide insight. It will check if you have an immune reaction to gluten. You can also take our quiz to better understand if your symptoms are a sign of celiac disease. So, should you follow a gluten free diet? Whether you have celiac disease or non celiac gluten sensitivity, if you feel lousy anytime you consume gluten, you might consider reducing how many gluten containing foods you eat or opting for a gluten free diet completely. Unfortunately, there is no cure for celiac disease and other gluten related conditions like sensitivities or intolerances. The best way to manage these health concerns is by reducing your gluten intake or eliminating it from your diet. However, gluten is not inherently bad for you, and if you're not experiencing any unfavorable symptoms due to eating gluten, then there's no need to switch to a gluten free diet. Furthermore, statistically, most people can tolerate gluten containing foods just fine. Only roughly 1 in 141 people in the United States have celiac disease, although there might be more who aren't properly diagnosed. Additionally, people who unnecessarily avoid gluten and without doing the proper research sometimes experience health risks because, as a result, they miss out on other important nutrients that the body needs. Now, if you avoid gluten, will you lose weight? One of the reasons that a gluten free diet became so trendy is that some people claim it aids in weight loss. So, should you prioritize gluten free foods if you want to lose weight? At this point, science hasn't found any significant connection between eating foods with gluten and weight gain or loss. So, why do people seem to experience weight loss once they start prioritizing gluten free foods then? Typically, when people switch to this type of diet, they drop pounds not because they avoid gluten, but because they make healthier choices in general. In particular, when you avoid gluten, this often entails cutting out a lot of processed foods and baked goods, which can contain gluten. Reducing your intake of processed foods, which are often calorie dense and lacking in nutrients, can help with weight loss. So, the health benefits they experience aren't a matter of going gluten free. Again, the only reason you should consider following a strict gluten free diet is if you experience symptoms after eating foods with gluten or as otherwise directed by your healthcare provider. So, what are examples of gluten free products? If you're thinking of following a gluten free diet, we highly recommend that you fill your plate with nutrient dense whole foods. Examples of naturally gluten free foods include fresh produce, eggs, lean meat, fish and poultry, unseasoned, low fat dairy products, unprocessed seeds, nuts, legumes, and beans, and grains like flax and quinoa, and there are many others. While it might take a little trial and error, you'll find that there are plenty of delicious gluten free alternatives that are quick and easy to prepare. You're still human, so it's okay to incorporate treats every now and then, as long as you don't react poorly to them. For instance, processed gluten free products like cookies and crackers are safe, but for the sake of your overall health, make sure those are the exception to the rule and not the rule. Always consider the nutritional quality of what you eat. The celiac panel at eNational testing requires a blood draw, and test results are available within 3 to 6 business days. We have more than 2,700 locations around the United States, and we even accept same day appointments. Should you have questions after receiving your test results, you can follow up with one of our friendly clinicians. Find a testing center near you and order your test today.